Hey there and good morning. First Alert Meteorologist Isaac Williams here on Atlanta News First Plus. Wanted to give you a tropical update on this Friday to get you into the weekend. A lot of buzz in the tropics and what could be happening this weekend. I'm going to tell you what we know and what we don't know for this forecast going into next week. I'm going to start with Humberto. It became a hurricane this morning earlier. It is now in a rapid intensification phase. This system is out kind of in the central Atlantic. It's well northeast of the Caribbean islands. It's well southeast of Bermuda, but it's starting to get that classic shape to it, and it's expected to continue to rapidly intensify. In fact, it's already gained about 15 to 20 mile per hour wind speeds just in a few hours, and we are going to continue to see Humberto likely become a major hurricane soon. In fact, the Hurricane Center brings us up to Category 4, 145 winds by Sunday morning. That's less than 48 hours from now. So an explicit rapid intensification forecast shown from the Hurricane Center. The good news here is that this is going to recurve. Now notice this might impact the island of Bermuda by the middle of next week, but it is expected to not impact the United States directly. But this is going to play a factor in what may happen with another tropical system that I'm going to talk about in a second. The tropics, after lying dormant for weeks and weeks, we have just passed the technical peak of hurricane season, but we are seeing this activity increase again and again. Humberto, another example of that. Again, could be near Category 5 intensity by the time we get to this weekend by Sunday. Here's a look at Invest 94L. So this is the other area of low pressure. It's not a tropical depression or storm just yet. This is what we're kind of watching with a little bit more great interest. Right now, very disorganized. It's kind of near the eastern tip of Cuba, well west of Puerto Rico, kind of over the island of Hispaniola. And it's very disorganized because it's still kind of hugging near the landmass, islands. Once it pulls away from the islands and the land, it is expected to get a little bit more intense and a little bit more organized, and we're looking at a 90% chance of development by the time we get to tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday. It's going to depend on how fast this system sort of detaches from eastern Cuba and Hispaniola, but we are looking at a pretty good chance of development here going forward. Spaghetti models. This is kind of every single hurricane model that we have the ability to show in our graphic system, and you can see lots of squiggly lines, yes, but clearly there's a path toward the Carolinas. The exact timing and all of that's still a little bit iffy because the system, again, hasn't truly formed just yet, but it's something that we will watch. And notice a few of those lines do come over Georgia next week, and we could see some increase in rain chances for North Georgia by the middle of next week. But again, direct impacts from the system, not especially likely at the moment. But again, this is subject to change because this system is very much in flux, very much in change going forward here. The next name on the list is Imelda. So we have Humberto now, which is rapidly intensifying. The I-name storm is Imelda. That's the next one. So if Invest 94 does get that name, that is what it will be. On Futurecast, this is the European model, one of the more consistent models that we look at and can show. This is Monday night. This is showing an area of low pressure kind of sliding through the far western Atlantic and then getting closer to the South Carolina coastline Tuesday morning and then pushing possibly inland by Tuesday afternoon. Lots of moisture associated with it, but notice we're on the west-left side of the system. So even if this was exactly correct, which it probably won't be, the worst of the weather is going to be in East Georgia, definitely into the Carolinas. This can change. This is just one model of the several that I showed you earlier. But I want to bring it out to a bigger picture view because we have several different steering mechanisms, if you will, at play. This is what we're looking at. So we have Invest 94L over Hispaniola. We have Humberto out in the Atlantic, a high-pressure system near Bermuda, and then we have an area of low pressure over the southeast. So I'm going to put this into motion and kind of show you how things will play out, and we'll stop the clock Sunday evening. So notice the high pressure over Bermuda begins to weaken a little bit and move off to the east. This is going to allow for Humberto to start to turn to the north and west, And then we're also kind of noticing what's happening with the low pressure off the southeast and how strong and where Invest 94L is at this point Sunday evening. It's entirely possible that Humberto can kind of tug on that circulation and pull it a little bit farther east. It's also possible that Invest 94L circulation might be a little bit ahead of where Humberto's influence may be, and it will be a little bit closer to the coastline. But also notice that area of low pressure over the southeast U.S. is going to be in the process of slowly weakening over the course of early next week. So it's going to depend on how strong and large Humberto is, the forward speed and position of 94L, and how all of these sort of interact together. If you have seen anything on social media the past couple days, you may have seen something called the Fujiwara effect, where basically two areas of low pressure sort of rotate around one another. That's very rare in the Atlantic. It's only happened a couple of times in recent memory. It's not out of the question that this could happen, but lots of different factors at play here. And something that we will continue to keep you posted here on Atlanta News First Plus, as well as inside the First Alert weather app. This afternoon, we're almost to the afternoon. It is kind of seeing a mixture of clouds and sunshine. We've seen some fog this morning. That's obviously dissipated. Temperatures are slowly climbing. We're in the 70s. It is 76 in Atlanta, 78 up in Gainesville, low 80s on average. Some of you a little warmer today. Shouldn't get to 87, certainly not 90 degrees like we've seen this week. A 40% chance at a late day shower. Here's a look at Futurecast as we look ahead. This is 3 o'clock. Again, notice those isolated downpours bubbling up, and those will continue through about maybe as late as 9 p.m. this evening. So if you are headed out to Truist Park tonight, just keep in mind we may have a brief shower. Nothing long-lasting, but something that you may be impacted by. Same thing for tomorrow. So we do have a chance at some isolated rain in the afternoon or early evening. That does include the Georgia-Alabama game, a non-zero chance of rain. We are looking at a mostly dry Sunday, and the next week we'll have highs staying in the low 80s, possibly dropping into the 70s, with a possible increase in rain chances depending on exactly what happens in the tropics. That's something that we will continue to follow very closely throughout this coming weekend. That'll do it here on ANF Plus. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Be sure to join Patrick, JD, and Jen later today. They'll have much more on the tropics on Atlanta News First at 3 o'clock and throughout the rest of this Friday evening.